One way that codependency starts with the Narc. Um, One of the things that Narcs do that's so infuriating is they say, either literally or with their actions, they say, your way is not valid. They invalidate you doing things your own way. And you keep saying, no, I'm allowed to do things my own way. I'm allowed to. I am allowed. And it just sort of doesn't do any good. One of the things you have to be wary of is if you want to do things your own way, which you have every right to, you're entitled to, it's your life, make sure you're not telling other people how to live their lives. And you can say, oh, I'm not the type of person to do that, but this is a little bit tricky, like a lot of things with narcs. This is how it can start. The narc comes to you with a problem, says, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I'm so sad, what do I do? What would you do? You know, they're always sort of wanting you to think for them, and they sort of will induce conversation and sort of pull things out of you in a tricky way. And so you say, oh, well, do things this way, and all of a sudden you're giving advice to them. And this sets up a standard for them to give advice to you. It's like, okay, this is how you see me. Okay, this is how I see you. And this is how the codependent false version of things arises. Now, the important thing to know is just, before you let yourself get hooked in like that, when the narc comes to you and says, I have all these problems, what do I do, blah, 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 they don't directly say it, but like they sort of imply that you're supposed to fix it. And because you're an empathic and helpful person, you feel like, yeah, I should just help this person in any way I can, you know? But don't. Let them do things their way. And, in terms of let them suffer, let them go through what they have to go through. Don't try to solve it or fix it or be the buffer between them and suffering, because that's what sets up the codependent relationship that then puts them in the position where they feel entitled to say, oh, well, you told me how to live, now I'm going to tell you how to live. But it's a little tricky with that. So that's one of the ways that the codependent relationship can start. That's one of the ways they can hoover you back in, is they appeal to your pity and they get you to feel sorry for them, and then they get you to sort of non-verbally or sometimes literally verbally, kind of give them advice and do the thinking for them. And then it sets up the relationship between you to say, okay, that means I get to tell you what to do also. And both of you are functioning on these sort of false terms, because you didn't just let the narc come to terms with their suffering on their own. And so in a way, you fell into the role of telling them how to do it, or telling them that their way of doing it isn't valid. You did that without realizing it. And that's one of the ways that the codependent relationship can start or be maintained between you and a narc.